Hi folks, Patrick Farrar. For old school sportswear, winning is more important than style points. Happy to be back with you. Now, Jersey City High School basketball has a long, strong legacy of players who've gone on to play college basketball. Now, the local institutions, New Jersey City University and St. Peter's College, have benefited from outstanding Jersey City ballers of the past. Now, both schools have struggled the last couple of years. However, this season, the Gothic Knights and the Peacocks have brought back some of the luster of years gone by. Marc Brown, head coach at New Jersey City University, truly has a tough task of following a coaching legend at that university. His father, Charlie Brown, one of the winningest coaches in New Jersey college basketball history, had established a standard of winning for the Gothic Knights. Heading into this year's New Jersey Conference play, Marc and his team had a problem with consistency on the court, but now the team is back on the winning track. We're here with Marc Brown. They say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Marc Brown, son of Charlie Brown at NJCU University, he's taking over the coaching position from his father a couple of years ago. Marc, how you doing today, fella?
I'm pretty good. How you doing?
Not bad today. You know, and you're not doing bad today, too, considering the fact that your team is doing better and you had to grow into position. Let's talk about that process first of how you had to mold this club in the way that you wanted, taking over for your father who had it for so many years.
Right. Well, following my dad, obviously, he's a legend. 25 years, did an unbelievable job here. Retired as the second winningest coach in the history of New Jersey basketball. So it was tough and it was a challenge, but I'm just trying to put my own stamp on the program. I always thought it'd take me about 3 or 4 years. Number one, obviously, to just get my feet wet in the coaching world. Number two was to get my coaching staff together and then get my own players in here. So it's ironic that in the 4th year, I'm having the most success.
You know, one thing I like about what I've seen so far is progression. And folks wanted something to happen automatically because you're Charlie Brown's son. It didn't happen that way. You probably knew it yourself.
Right. It's not as easy as it looks. You know, you're trying to get good young student athletes to come in and play and then buy into your system and buy into what you're trying to do. It's not as easy as it looks, but it's finally coming together. The key was getting the coaching staff that I needed to support me and behind me in place, and that was really the key. I have a good staff.
And doing that, what's the toughest thing that you had to acclimate yourself to, being a great player at Siena, to coaching, and also having the kind of aura that your father had? What was that hardest transition?
Really, just getting kids to understand that you got to work hard. You know, I'm coming from a different era. I'm 41 now, so I was taught a little differently. So coming up, I think young people don't work hard as much as they should, and they need to work hard to be successful on and off the court.
You know, one thing I like about that the spirit that this team and the tradition has, that some kids can attach to it. How do you keep that up? I know working hard's important, but a lot of Jersey City kids who we like to have in here may not feel it. What would you tell them?
I would tell them without hard work, you're going nowhere. That's what I tell all my kids when I recruit them. First thing I ask about them is, you know, how they're doing in school. You can tell by their habits in school if they're going to come to the next level and work hard. And I tell them, without working hard, you're not gonna amount to much, and that's just the truth.
You know, this league is a tough league, the New Jersey Athletic Conference. And this year, you guys have started kind of slow. Talk us about the progression of grit to make you where you're at now.
Yeah, we had a slow start. I was always confident in the talent of this team. Basically, we had a lot of transfers, a lot of new guys, so it took some time to gel. But I think we hit our stride probably mid-January when everything just came together. And this is a team sport, so chemistry is everything. So as soon as we hit our stride, I think we just took off from there.
I know the rivalries with Keene College and Rowan College, and now Montclair playing in the finals. Talk about those particular teams and what it means to the competition in this league to you.
Well, the NJCU has always been one of the toughest Division III conferences in the country. Anyone who really knows basketball knows that, especially people that follow the local basketball scene. Just some great teams, some great games. You know, I have guys on my team that could easily play Division II. I have a couple I believe could play low Division I if they had the opportunity or if their grades were a little better coming out, as well as some of the other teams in the conference. So it's great competition night in and night out. Even some of the weaker teams have gotten a lot better. Rutgers Camden was always one of the teams that was at the bottom of the South Division. They had 4 and 5 wins this year in the conference, so it's a strong conference.
I know you being a coach and being a point guard like your pops was, I know there's a demand on a point guard, so it might be a little different than any other position.
Right. I'm hard on my guards. You can ask any of my players, current or former. They'll tell you that I'm tough to play for. I wear my emotions on my sleeve. I was that way as a player. I'm that way as a coach. But I think at the end of the day, they realize that I'm trying to push them to be the best they can be.
Lastly, I know you're in the finals for the conference championship, but what does this mean to your team and the school and to your program?
Well, it's just trying to get the program back where it was. I think my first 3 years, we had 2 solid years, and in 1 year we took a step back, and now I'm trying to get this program back to where my dad had it. And it's tough. It's a different era. Kids are different, so it's tougher, but that's what we're striving to do.
Marc, I wish you the best, and I know you're going to keep doing what you're doing, man.
All right. Thank you very
Take
much.
care.
Appreciate it.
John Dunn was the assistant coach at Seton Hall. He experienced success of having been exposed to the great play of Big East basketball, coaching under Louis Orr, who's now in Bowling Green. When he was appointed the head coach of St. Peter's College men's basketball team, he had to clean house with some players who really didn't fit into what he wanted to do. It was a tough dime, deal with those consequences too, because he lost a lot. It's been difficult for St. Peter's College basketball, but they're back in the mix of the Mid-Atlantic Conference this year. Back in the MAC. Here with Coach John Dunn of St. Peter's College. And Coach, let me tell you something. We know 4 years ago it was rough for you to come in here, but now you got a smile on your face because you got something that you can compete with. First of all, talk about how you're doing, first of all, and about this particular point where your team is about to make an embark on what the season's about.
Well, we're 17-11 overall after starting 0-3 and then facing an Alabama team in the Virgin Islands tournament. You know, looking at 0-4, you know, I'm really proud of the way we responded. You know, we beat Alabama by 1 in the last second three-point shot, down 2 with the ball, hit a 3, go up 1. That was our first victory of the year. And you know, we stumbled out of the blocks a little bit. We've had some injuries. Wesley Jenkins was hurt earlier in the year, and he missed 7 games. Ryan Bacon had missed a couple of games, but at the end of the day, we're healthy now. You know, playing really well. Got our 17th victory at Loyola Chicago last week, and we're 11-5 in conference, tied for second place with Ryder and Iona, who we're playing tonight. And you know, feel good about where we're at, and we'll see what happens this weekend. You know, to say the least, you have a tough job because of the fact that what many people don't know when they get into this game, where you're at now. You know, you have a situation where you don't have a campus and other things that aren't to your benefit, but you have hope and you got grit and you got work and you put the effort and make things happen. Talk about how that's been on you. You know, I mean, it's funny. I mean, a lot of people knock, you know, Jersey City, a lot of people knock our campus, but at the end of the day, we have a nice little small, quaint, you know, campus. We have nice dorms. We have great people. We have a nice little quad that let us a lot of congregation, especially when the weather's good. Jersey City right now is actually been an attraction for us. You know, the waterfront's great. The restaurants down there are great. The young professionals that have moved into Jersey City. So Jersey City's developing, and we're proud of the area, and we're proud of our campus, and you know, that some people think the term it a negative, but we think it's a positive. And at the end of the day, you know, when our kids come on campus, they're pleasantly surprised. Now that we're winning, they used to not even want to come visit us on campus, you know, but now that they're winning a little bit, you know, they're visiting us, and then they're actually pleasantly surprised. And not that we get every recruit we bring on campus, but at the end of the day, when they leave here, they usually have a good taste in their mouth. So we're competing on the recruiting front, and we feel good about where the program's going. Coach, you know, your signature of your team is defense, and defense ain't pretty, but it wins. Talk about that. Yeah, I mean, last year we were tied for first in the country, I think, with Florida State in defensive field goal percentage. I think we were in the top 25 or 30 in three-point defensive field goal percentage. You know, obviously we want to guard, you know, the opponent night in, night out. You know, I don't know. I think we're 4th in the country right now in defensive field goal percentage. I think we're in the top maybe 25 or top 20 in three-point defensive field goal percentage. Actually, in league play, if you just look at our conference stats, we're holding our opponents under 37% defensive field goal percentage. So we're proud of the way we're defending the basketball and defending our opponents. And you know, when we score and limit our turnovers, we're tough to beat. Coach, you know, going into the MAC tournament, which is really going to be, I think, the signature of the season. You want to win it all, but I'm not being negative. Let's just play devil advocate. Let's say you don't win it. How has this season worked for you in terms of putting this program where you want it? Well, you know, when you look at our freshmen, well, when you look at our seniors that, I've had for 4 years, Wes Jenkins, Nick Leon, Ryan Bacon, they lost 18 games in a row when they were freshmen. And to get to the program to where it's at, Jerron Beelan's joined them along the way. He joined the team last year, and obviously we're going to honor him as the 4th senior tonight. So to be tied for second with 11 wins in conference, 17 overall, with 2 games to go going into the tournament, we feel really good about where we're at.
Lastly, Coach, with all this going on, how has it affected you in terms of how you take your perspective and grown as a coach to do your job?
I think every day I get better as a coach. Every day, like I told these guys when they came here as freshmen, we're all going to grow together. And at the end of the day, I think we've done that. I think we've done a good job of that. No player's perfect, no coach is perfect, and we're just going to strap it up and go as hard as we can and take the blue-collar approach and stick together and see what we get done.
Coach, lastly, a little appeal to folks from Jersey City. This was a Marc program for years in the past, but there's hope for this campus and hope for a lot of things that you're doing. Folks in Jersey City need to know that. Talk about that.
No, we want the people around here to be proud of the product that we're putting out. Even before I got here, the cover was a little bare just because Keedron Clark had graduated. He was phenomenal, and he brought a lot of excitement. Him, Coach Lecky, bringing him in here, brought a lot of excitement to this area and some good basketball. And obviously, once he graduated, we had to build it back up. But at the end of the day, we want the locals to be proud of us and. That we're putting a good product on the floor, and all 4 guys are on target to graduate, which is fantastic, which we're very proud of, and again, feel blessed and feel good with where we're at.
Bilal Dixon was a young man who grew up in Jersey City, went to St. Anthony's for a while. Things didn't quite work out, but he transferred to Queen of Peace over North Arlington. From there, he was able to get a scholarship to play basketball at Providence College, where he's now in the starting 5. Let's see what Bilal Dixon has to say about his experience playing with the Providence Friars.
It really was no transition. I'm used to it. I just wanted different scenery. I lived in Jersey City my whole life. I grew up playing in Audubon, Lincoln Park. I played for the Boys and Girls Club. When I got older, I knew it was time for me to leave Jersey City and expand my horizon and see different parts of the world. So I chose Providence College, very good school academically and sports-wise. So that's another reason why I chose it. It's not too far from home, like 3 hours.
One thing about Providence has a history of Jersey City ball players. Ernie, of course, Vinny Ernst, who won the NIT in the 60s, and Nehru King, who played in the 70s and the NCAAs. Talk about the tradition of good Jersey City basketball up in Providence.
Oh, it's a lot of good basketball players all over in every school that people don't really know about. A lot of kids these days don't know a lot about the past of Jersey City basketball players. So I know a lot about them, but those players are very good. They open doors for me and the future ball players of not just going to Providence College, but going to any college and getting a full ride and playing basketball.
Lastly, before you get out of here, a lot of young ball players who might envy what you do, but it wasn't an easy ride. Talk about how difficult it was and what you got to do to maintain to be at the level where you are today.
It wasn't an easy ride. You got to just maintain. You just got to live your life. Stay out of trouble. Make sure you go to school. Make sure if you want to play a sport, it don't have to be basketball. It could be any sport you want to play. Just stick with it and make sure you pass your grades through high SATs. Even if you don't do good SATs, just have a good GPA and a low SAT score has got to be. That's what happened to me. If I can do it, you can do it. And also be around positive people. I was around positive people. I was around Terry the Hare. I was around my father. I was around Mike at the YMCA. Manny from the Armory. Boys and Girls Club. Coach Gambles. I was with Bob Hurley. Just be around positive people, and positive stuff will happen, and positive stuff will come in your life.
Best to you, man.
Thank you too. All right, you too.
I'd like to thank Bilal Dixon for his comments and how he's grown to be a starting player with Providence. But more importantly, Providence College has a history of great ball players that come from Jersey City. Guy I grew up with was around, coming up was Nehru King. But undoubtedly, the greatest player out of Jersey City to play for Providence College was Vinny Ernst. A couple of weeks back, the college of Providence College retired his number. Vinny Ernst, for some folks who don't know, was one of the best basketball players, high school ball players, bitty basketball players to come out this town. Now we go down the road to Villanova, where Dominic Cheek is one of the contributing players of a team that's Started out real well in the Big East this year, but had some problems. But he has been a strong part in contributing to that offense and that team, period. Let's talk to Dominic Cheek.
I'm here, you're getting used to things, and things have changed now. You're in the sophomore year, and talk about your role now.
I think my role changed now because I'm a sophomore, so I had to step up a lot this year, and I had to become like one of the leaders on the team.
One of the things I know that stays consistent with your game is playing defense. Tonight, I saw you play D. Talk about how that role's expanded on this team.
Oh yeah, because my teammate, they looked for me to like play defense, like play offense and everything, but my shot and everything wasn't falling there, so I was trying to do all the other things, like play defense and get my teammates shots.
One thing I noted about the game, that the game's gotten physical, and how has your body changed to adjust to that physicality?
Like college basketball is way different from high school, so you got to adjust to college basketball. You have to get your body stronger because in college it's a physical game.
One thing I've seen about this, you got some Jersey ball players who play Jersey style. How's it to help you out to understand and feel comfortable with what you're doing?
Because I know like Corey Fisher, Corey Stokes, they both came from great high school programs. So I talked to them before I even made the commitment to go to Villanova. And they told me that Villanova fit my style of play.
Tell me lastly about how are you going to improve with the next couple of weeks with this Big East tournament coming and everybody coming at you. What's on your mind to really get yourself adjusted? I know your legs might be tired, wearing down. Talk about that.
Yeah, everybody's legs are tired and everything. Like every Big East team, but like we just gotta stay focused. You can't let that bother us. So we just gotta just stay in the gym. Just keep working hard. Listen to the coach, watch film, and just keep on improving our game and getting better.
Have you heard from Coach Hurley about what you're doing in terms of your progress?
Yeah, Coach Wright gives Coach Hurley a call. Probably like once a week, just to let Coach Hurley know how I'm doing.
Lastly, what folks from Jersey, kids from Jersey City watch you play, watch you on TV, what can you tell them in terms of what they need to do to maybe get to your point?
Just stay focused, keep a good head. Academics come first off. And, just listen to their parents and just stay in the gym if they want to become a great basketball player.
In the 80s, you talk about high school basketball in Jersey City. A team that really made some noise was Hudson Catholic. That team had two outstanding players on them, Jim Spinarco and Michael Corrin. Both went to great colleges, but they went to colleges that were foes of each other. Imagine one of your best friends going to your college rival. Well, that's what happened. Michael Corrin went to North Carolina, and Jim Spinarco went to Duke. Well, they were back in Jersey City, taking care of some things. Let's hear what they had to say about their experience at Hudson Catholic and playing college basketball, guys from Jersey City.
Hey, back in Jersey City. Well, the guy who had a pretty good jump shot, pretty good game, Michael Corrin. Mike, how you doing, fella?
Doing great. It's good to be back here at Hudson Catholic. I feel like I'm ready to take on some of these young guys over here.
You look in good shape, guy.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm trying. I do a little cardio to stay in shape.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this brings back memories. Let's get a little memories about how it feels to be back in the school and what it means to you to even be here today.
It's fantastic. When Coach Nick called and said they were going to get this dinner together and bring Jim Spinarco and myself back, I thought it was fantastic. It's great just to come back in because we've had a lot of great moments in this school and in this gym. And it's good just to see some friends I haven't seen for a while, some teammates, some teachers that gave me good grades. I don't know if I deserved them or not, but I got good grades. And it's good to be around the young kids that are here, dressed nice in their gray warm-ups and looking sharp, and it's just a good all-around night.
There's a lot of information that you can impart into young people. Let's talk about the first thing about how the game has changed from when you played to now. You've gone and, of course, and did a great career in college and in pros and coaching. Give us a little tip on how you feel about it now.
Well, I just think today the talent level is so much higher. Guys they're bigger, they're stronger, they run faster. And I think back in our day, I think we did the little things better. Guys today, they seem to rely so much on their talent. Overall, not all players. Back then, we had to rely on back screens and little things to get things across, and I just give these guys credit. They work hard. I had a chance to watch the team do some conditioning the other day, and they put their time in, And as long as you work at it, well, no matter what you do, whether you play sports or in school or whatever, if you work hard at it, you'll be good at it.
You know, one thing that we have in Jersey City in the area is the fact that we got gritty ball players, and that tradition we hope to keep going. Talk about how important it is no matter where you go.
Well, no matter where you go, in Jersey City was so important for me as a young kid because there was always a game, whether it was at the St. Joe's schoolyard or whether it was up here at Hudson Catholic, down at St. Peter's they were playing, over in Greenville, up in the Heights. There was always a game, and I loved to ride a bike. So I'd get on my bike, I'd go down to Audubon Park and play, which was some tremendous games down that way. But Jersey City was so good for me, and my mother, who still lives here at Hudson Gardens. I mean, whatever you needed, it was here, provided it for you. And I owe a lot to this city, and I'm just happy to be back tonight to be here at Hudson and just have some fun.
Mike, you know, I talked a couple of months ago to two guys you might know. One guy named Dan Walton, another guy named Mike Rooney.
Sure.
And of course, you know, they said nice things about you too.
Yeah.
But you know, one thing they mentioned about some of the differences in terms of Jersey City ball players. Now, we're talking about grittiness, the fact that you're going to play anywhere you could, anytime at all. Sometimes there's not a lot of that going on now for various reasons, but that's very important.
Oh, no question. And the thing is, and don't count the kids out yet. There's so many different things from. I mean, if I had a cell phone or I had these games you could put on the TV, I think I would have done that too. But that wasn't available for us. So what we did was we played, you know. And Danny and Mike Rooney, and Mike Rooney, probably the best shooter to come out of this city, in my opinion. And I saw him when he was, you know, towards the tail end a little bit. But those are good guys. They're what Jersey City's all about, people like that. And we got the grittiness because I think it comes to, there was an old saying, no blood, no foul.
That's true.
And when I was young, I played against older guys. And if I drive to the hoop and I got knocked down, like even the guys on my team, the older guys that were friends with me, they said, no, you don't get that foul. You may get it later on in your life, but you ain't getting it now. And that made you tough. And that made you want to get up and fight harder. And that's this city helped me in so many ways, it's uncountable.
You know, speaking of this city, I know you went off to North Carolina, did some other things. Talk about how important the kind of education experience for young folk to understand to get away and take the chance to get away.
Well, you know what? It's a great question. You have to discipline yourself. You know, when you go away to college, and I had a rough time. I wanted to come home. I didn't feel comfortable there, but I was told to gut it out, and I tried, and I did. But you're by yourself. So, in other words, if you want to get up and go to class, you do. And that's what was great about Hudson Catholic and St. Joe's grade school. You know, we were groomed to do that. You know, if you didn't want to go to class, you didn't go. You know, and you didn't learn. But at North Carolina and Dean Smith, if you didn't go to class and you failed, you weren't playing. And I knew that. And again, the foundation was set here in this school and at St. Joe's grade school when I was younger. But college really sets you up to go to the pros if you're good enough. And that's what happened at Carolina. They teach you how to play and teach you to become a young man also.
So a lot of folks know what are you doing now, and then what's your future plans?
Well, I'm not working right now. Unfortunately, I was with the Nets as a coach for 5 or 6 years. We did real well, made 2 finals. Eddie Jordan was a good friend, took the head job down in Washington. We went down there for 6 years, had a real good time, and then came up to Philly, and we had a rough year last year, and it didn't work out, and they cleaned house. So right now I'm just looking for work.
And lastly, Mike, you know, good having you back here. Give some encouraging words to some young ball players. We talked about some of the landscape of what's going on now, but the fact that if you want to do it, you can do it, not only in ball playing, but in life.
Yeah, in life, you know what it is? You have to be positive because, you know, it's not all sunshine and roses out there, whether it's Jersey City or whether it's Hollywood. I mean, there's rough times, and those rough times is when you have to, you know, get up off the canvas, stay positive, continue to work at it, and good things will happen. So there's going to be some shots you got to take. You know, you got to duck sometimes, you got to take it and fall down and get back up. And as long as you can do that, work hard at it, no matter what it is, and I think good things will happen.
Well, a lot of good people are happy to see you around, and hopefully things work out for you. But even if it does, Mike, you're always good to see, good to talk to, fella. Best of luck to you. Great night to be back at the old school. I think you can still shoot a jumper too, man.
I don't know about that, but thanks a lot.
Great night, Hudson Catholic Gym. You know, it's like being back in Jersey City a whole bunch of years ago. We don't want to say how many, though. Talk about what this night means to you.
Well, obviously it's a great night for Michael Corrin and myself. You know, we're excited to be here and come back to Hudson Catholic. unfortunately, with our lives, we don't get a chance to do that frequently, but it's great to be back. With Hudson Catholic, it's always been a sweet spot in our hearts, both Mike and myself, in terms of what this school meant to us. We had a lot of success here and a lot of fun, and met just tremendous people all the way from the faculty all the way down to all the guys that we used to go to school with and still stay in touch with. So it's great to be back. It's always great to be back in Jersey City, especially at Hudson Catholic.
You know, there are a lot of stories about you and Mike and the team, what went on. What do you remember most that keeps you inspired about the days here at Hudson Catholic?
Well, I think the first thing when I think back is, number one is all the good guys, the friends we met over the years, and from just the students and the basketball team. And I think the second thing that I think about is when I think about Hudson Catholic is, Rocky Pope, who's coaching our team back then when we won the Hudson County Championship. And I think thirdly and maybe first, it's all wrapped together, is the fact that, we won the Hudson County Championship here, beat St. Anthony's at the Jersey City Armory. So those are memories that I have from a basketball standpoint. But really it comes down to just, not so much the statistics and the points and the rebounds, but really the friends and the experience that was great.
Jim, we talked about with Mike about the grittiness of Jersey City kids and what it means to have that to get to the next level. Talk about that from your standpoint.
Well, the thing what I think Mike and I were lucky with back then in playing basketball in the city type of play, and it's changed a little bit over the years, but fundamentally we were lucky. We both had good coaches in grammar school. We both had a good coach in high school, and be able to develop ourselves from an early age on with the fundamentals of the game. And I think it was more, we were lucky. We were decent athletes, but I think first and foremost we knew how to play the game and we were fundamentally sound. Now you can get away with being athletically sound and maybe not so good on the fundamentals, but it was great playing basketball here. People don't realize, people who live in Hudson County don't realize, even going back when we were playing, that it was a great league. The Southern Division that we played in, we had schools like Dickinson, Ferris, Lincoln, Snyder, Bayonne, and then all the Catholic schools, St. Mary's, St. Mike's, St. Mary's and St. Peter's. So the league was great, the competition was great, there were great players who came through at all different levels, at all different positions. So we were just flat out lucky that Jersey City was a great place to play basketball and grow up.
Talk about the legacy of being attached to Duke University and what it means to the city for you, a guy like Bobby Riley, to do something in that and represent this city.
Well, for me it was always, my parents were great supporters of what I did, and my, I had a family of 6 kids, so the 5 other ones were constantly great supporters of what I did over the years in terms of basketball. But Jersey City was the type of place, and not many people understand this, how there's, the 6 degrees of separation. I usually say that's only half a degree of separation in Jersey City. It's that type of place now. Sometimes that's good and bad. I mean, you get good laundry, you get bad laundry, everybody knows your business. But for me going away, and Michael, we talked about this a lot, it was more or less, you just weren't representing yourself or your family. What you're doing is representing Jersey City, because it was amazing how in touch Jersey City stayed with both of our careers.
I know, Mike, you went on to play professional, now you're working in the broadcast area, and of course, I work with young people in the media. A lot of people want to do what you do in terms of being in front of the air. Now, I know that it's not as easy as they think. Talk quickly about how it is to be involved in sports media, and it's just not looking at the game, but the research involved.
Well, the understanding of broadcasting and doing what I do, which is the color analyst position, really entails more than just understanding the game, and that's where I have an edge, because I grew up and it was part of my blood. But when you go on the air and you have to prepare for games like that, it's not only knowing, and I do the New Jersey Nets, which I see 50, 60, 70 times a year, but it's the opposition, preparing yourself not only for that, but to be opposition and knowing the players in that team. And then I also do college for CBS Sports, ESPN Regional. So it's really a homework assignment, getting to know a college team more so and doing your research. Then the basketball falls into place, but you have to really spend the time getting to know not only the teams, but the coaches, the players, what they like to do, what they don't like to do, and their offenses and defenses, obviously.
And lastly, you have a life outside of sports. You're involved in finance, and I know that's important. Talk about how that has segued into the importance of your life and making things work.
Well, I've been with Merrill Lynch. Merrill Lynch and Bank of America merged about in January of 2009, but I've been with Merrill Lynch for about 26 years now. We do investment advisory work for high net worth individuals and also institutional, the small to mid-sized institutional accounts. So it's been a great combination of being able to not only do that, Duke prepared me pretty well, Hudson Catholic prepared me well for the academic side of it. I've been fortunate to work for a company like Merrill Lynch, which is a great institution, now Bank of America. So it's been able to take those two combinations of broadcasting and the finances, great compliment because it's, basketball opens up a lot of doors, and you can abuse the sport, but you can also use it positively, and it's been a great sport for me in my business field.
In your life, I think it represents what Raphael Addison said: use the game, don't let the game use you.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times it's misused, and I think, in this day and age we've seen, the words, scholar athlete get mistermed, I think. A lot of times they have that flip-flop where guys are going athletically first, and it's great when you hit it and you make the NBA or some major league sports. You have that less than 1% of the people who play sports make it. So you see those stories and you think everybody's going to do it. But I always, I tell my kids and I tell people that ask me for advice is just make sure when you decide what you're going to do in life, make sure you have an academic background, because generally, sooner or later, the ball's going to stop bouncing, or you're not going to be able to run and catch a pass, or you're not going to be able to throw a baseball.
Mike, thank you for your time. Jim, thank you for your time. It's going to be a great evening. Enjoy yourself. I like this kind of night.
Yeah, it's a great night. It's just go back to the roots. It's a lot of fun.
And someone said you can still shoot a jumper.
Set shot.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you.
We'd like to thank all the ball players that we talked today from Jersey City. Jersey City follows a great tradition of college ball players, including Michael Corrin, who went down to North Carolina, and Jim Smark-Pinocco, who went to Duke. Also, Dominic Cheek, now at Philadelphia and with Villanova. And Bilal Dixon at Providence. You'll see those guys coming soon on Big East Conference. And also the coaches from Jersey City. John Dunn from St. Peter's College and Mark Brown for NJCU, New Jersey University, for participating on today's show. Hopefully you enjoyed college ball here in Jersey City and around Jersey City and all across the country. This has been Patrick Farrar for Old School Sports. Well, our motto is, we believe in winning is more important than style points. We'll see you next time.
Wanna buy a new car, but the price ain't right. Ain't that gold? Be a damn sight cheaper, yes it would.